I'm looking forward to this, guys. We do this call once a month, EAs and copy traders. So, it's one of my favorite calls to put together. I want to give you guys some tips and tricks today on how to identify good copy traders to use if you're interested in algorithmic trading or automating your trading success. Um, but I'm looking forward to this. I've got several things prepared tonight. We're going to start a little basic so that we can kind of get everybody acquainted with what we're doing in this call. Towards the end, we will get into some of the more detailed things on how you can identify good copy traders. So I'm looking forward to this. So let's jump into this. Before we get started, it's very important we go over a disclaimer. As always, I need to remind each one of you about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. Additionally, I'm just going to add a quick thing on here. When you're using algorithmic trading or copy trading, EAs, whatever it be, technologies in at the helm, right? So we're allowing technology to manage our money for us, and there's a gamut of things that could go wrong. There's a lot of things that go in your favor too. So it's a double-edged sword, right? Like a lot of things could happen, go really well for you, and things could go the wrong way. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks tonight that I've used to help protect my capital when I go down this route of trading. I also, on this note too, maybe not so much of a disclaimer, but I do believe that trading is going this direction towards more automation. And so the better you can get your hands on automation, the better you can learn about how to identify good automation and implement it into your trading strategy, the better you will be. So I think it never hurts, even if you're somebody who manually trades, which most of us still do. I definitely love. There's something about just digging into the markets in the morning and looking at the charts. It's really enjoyable for me. It's something I love. A lot of you guys have the same. You share the same. Um, we share we love it together, right? Uh, but there's nothing wrong with learning how to manage your money on your own, right? So let's go ahead and jump into this. Welcome, Jeff from Jackson Hole. Good to have you here. Welcome. Glad to have you. And also, like I said, also want to give a shout out to those watching this in the recording too. Want to say hello to each one of you. I know there's a lot of people that said that they were going to watch this in the recording today, so just wanted to say hello to everybody. Okay, so let's talk about what EAs are and copy traders. So on the front page here, this is what it's called, EAs and copy traders. So let's just go over the difference. So an EA in trading is called an expert advisor, and it's basically a Forex robot. So anytime somebody says EA, it's the same thing as expert advisor, which is the same thing as a Forex trading robot. Okay, what does a robot do? So basically, robots will go out and they have protocols and they have a set of code, a line of code that they follow, and they will execute trades for you based off that line of code. So if a certain market condition pops up on in the market and the computer code likes it, it will then go out and take that trade for you based off of how you've programmed it to do so. It's a very valuable thing, obviously, because this is the type of thing that people um, uh, people want this kind of thing because this is how you can participate in the market, maybe without even knowing too much, right? Like you can let your money be managed by a robot. You could be on vacation, you could be, at the store, and you're investing in the markets actively. So this is a huge tool. There's three ways to get wealthy. One way is to leverage technology, which is obviously this. Another way to get wealthy is to leverage capital. And this is actually, they merge together quite well. And then the third way is to leverage your network or your people, the people around you, right? So every single person I've ever known that's made a lot of money has done one of those three things very well, if not multiple of the. If you can merge all three, that's how you get ultra wealthy, right? Like if you think about the really rich people like Elon, and you got Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, you've got um, Bill Gates, right? they did all three, but you only have to do one actually to get rich. So, um, so what's cool about this is you're kind of leveraging. You're not so much people. I guess you have us in the community. We have a small group, and we work together to help each other become successful and find things that are working. But really, it's just about leveraging. Here, this is totally about technology and leveraging capital, right? And then copy traders. So we talked about EAs. Copy traders are um, they're kind of the same thing, but they're a little bit different because it depends on how it's set up. A copy trader is but and actually let me finish on EA. So EAs, like I said, is a technology that you pay for so that you have a software. You're basically buying software that will trade for you. You usually will hook it up to the MT4 or MT5 trading platform. That's an EA. Usually with EAs, you have to pay a one-time fee. This is most common. You just pay up front, however much somebody's asking for their EA. We did a webinar, I think, a month ago, and we talked about the different costs of an EA, and they range from they can be free and they can be as high as $30,000. That's the most expensive EA out there, and there are actually plenty that are that expensive. Most pretty good ones that I've seen cost anywhere between $300, we'll say, that on the low end, and some pretty good ones can go up from there. But I would say the average is anywhere between 300 and 3,000. So if you're paying between that, you're going to have it forever. You've got this trading robot that will trade for you forever, but usually at those prices, they're pretty good. Not all of them are good. You could certainly buy one that's junk. I've done that. I've paid for bots in the past that have not worked the way I had expected them to. And so even the ones that do work the ways I expect them to, I'm happy with the results, but there's always a hiccup along the way. So the other downside to EAs though is that I just mentioned a con here is that they do require a little bit more of your know-how. Like you need to be able to navigate um, like your own ability, right? So sometimes if you need to adjust the settings on an EA, you might not know how to do that, right? And it takes a lot of know-how. Copy traders are a little different. This is basically a month to month, whereas EAs are a one-time fee. Basically, with copy traders, you go to a site like Signal Start, or you're going to go to like MQL5 right here, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Is mostly copy traders. So copy traders, what makes them different from EAs is you're basically paying somebody who's already a successful trader, rather whether or not they're the ones taking the trades themselves, or maybe they've created a very successful trading robot, and you're basically paying them a month to month. You're renting it basically. You're renting their services on a month to month basis that you can cancel at any time. But it's perpetual if you want to continue to stay with it and they're trading your account for you. Okay. So um it's not that you have to give them your username and password to your account. It's that you connect your account to a place like a third party like Signal Start, or you connect to MQL5 or wherever. You link up with one of those sites, and then from there, um, and whoever you've subscribed to is who you're going to go with. It's kind of I don't know, like if you go on Facebook Marketplace or some kind of like Craigslist or something, and you look for a place to rent, you're basically shopping around for the best place you can buy for the best price that matches your budget, right? And if you find somebody you like, you link up with that person. It's kind of the same thing. You shop around on these sites like Signal Start, you shop around on MQL, you go to these sites and you start looking at the different options that are available. And if you like what you see, you can then create a contract with them and start and you just start pay a subscription. That's all it is, right? So what's nice about this is I like EAs. I probably like copy traders more than EAs. I'm going to explain why. Because with copy traders, you have so much more ability to back test from a third party, a verified third party, the actual results of that copy trader, right? You know how they've performed. It doesn't necessarily indicate future results, right? Because because future, we don't know the future, right? But it's nice to at least know how it has performed. And I do think that it's very important to at least take a look at how something has performed in the past before you invest in it in the future, right? It's not the only variables. You don't want to just trust that alone, but that is a very, very important element. You can't do that as well on EAs. So that's another reason why I like copy traders. The other cool thing about copy traders is usually the price to entry is not a lot. Like some copy traders charge as little as like $10 a month, 20, $30 a month. It's kind of what you'll pay. Some copy traders can cost as high as like $500 I've seen a month. Usually they're darn good though, like darn good, like almost like guarantee level good. Um, but but I would say usually a really expensive copy trader is like $200 a month. Okay, so you're anywhere between $30 a month and 200 a month for a good copy trader. Um, okay. Um, so I like that because if you decide you don't want to continue, it's a very easy thing to just go into one of these third-party sites like Signal Start or MQL, and it's so easy to end the relationship. You just go in and cancel. It's like that's it. They're never going to know that you left, other than they might notice that, they're not making as much money from their subscriptions anymore, but it's just like a Netflix, just like, oh, I don't want this anymore. Cancel. Right. Very easy thing to do with copy traders.
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve's scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code YouTube50, that's YouTube50, no spaces at checkout, and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
So I like, for all those reasons, I prefer copy traders. EAs, I know a lot of traders have had success with EAs. I've had success with EAs. I just prefer the copy trader route because I have that much more control. And there's a lot of settings you can put in that are pretty easy. I get a lot of family members who come to me or friends that come to me and say, "Hey, Steve, look, I have no interest in learning how to trade. The charts just don't interest me." And they come and they just say, "Hey, I'd like to invest this $5,000 or $10,000 that I have." Usually for me, it's super easy to just set somebody up on a copy trader and it'll make their life super happy. Like I just did that a couple months ago with my sister-in-law lives in Colorado Springs. Just said, "Hey, look, I'd love to learn how to do this, but I don't have the time. Can you hook us up?" So yeah, I hooked them up on a $5,000 or $10,000 account, and then I just set them up on a few copy traders that I like and set them up on their settings. It probably took us I first told them to go fund an account with like a Wanda or Forex.com, and then it probably took us 10 or 15 minutes to just get it all set up. It was really, really fast. It's a really easy thing to put together. So, okay. So I just wanted to lay the groundwork so that those that are kind of new know what this is. So this is again algorithmic trading. This is a way to automate your trading. This is not so much learning about the charts. We have lots of webinars you can watch on that. This is all about folks that want to automate. Okay. So we're going to spend the next, 35, 40 minutes going over how to use these different sites where you can use copy traders. So tonight I'd like to focus more on copy traders. Last month we did more EAs. So we're going to do copy traders tonight. So I want to show you guys the two main sites where you can copy trade. Now there's other places you can copy trade, like eToro has a copy trading service, but it's more for crypto, for people that want to trade crypto. I've not used it, so just disclaimer there, I can't really tell you too much about it. I just know that you can. There's other places you can go, like oh shoot, I had it on the top of my tongue. Oh yeah, what's it called? Social Trader Tools has a copy trading service. I haven't really seen a lot of copy traders I like there. But the two main places where people go in Forex specifically to find successful copy traders is signalstart.com, and the second one is MQL5.com. So MQL5.com is the same company. It's MetaQuotes. So MetaQuotes owns the MT4 and MT5 platform, which is the most which is the most broadly used trading platform just throughout the Forex world for the last 20 years. So that's MetaQuotes. So they have like, I think 4 or 5,000 different copy traders you can select from, which is kind of crazy. Oh yeah, and I forgot this. Jen just mentioned this in the chat box here. Copygram and Traders Connect are good for copying programs. Yes, so you can use. But a quick question, Jen, does Copygram have people who, like myself, let's say I wanted to offer my own trading services to other people? Could somebody like me go to Copygram and offer that, or do they just do? From what I understand, Copygram, what they do is it's a place where you can go and copy trade your own accounts. So let's say you go get like 4 or 5 different let's say you go get 4 or 5 different prop firm accounts, and you trade only, like, say, like the overnight trading strategy, and it's every night, and you don't want to set up every single trade on 5 different accounts. The cool thing about Copygram or Traders Connect or even Social Trader Tools is you can go to one of those 3 places and you can connect your prop firm accounts to that third party. And then what happens is you designate what's called a master account, and then you have and then all the other prop firm accounts are what we call slave accounts. And so when you take a trade in the master account, that exact same trade gets transmitted and executed the exact same way in these slave accounts, which is a huge benefit, right? Because then you only have to take the trade once, but then it will transmit in the other 4 or 5 accounts that you have. So it's very, very useful. Um, Okay, cool. So Jen says no, they are more for actually copying. Yes, that's what I do. Perfect. Yep, exactly. So yeah, Copygram's great for that. If you start to get multiple funded accounts or multiple prop firm accounts, and it's starting to become hard to manage all your prop firm accounts, which is the goal for each one of you, right? Like there's no reason why you guys can't have, 2, 3, or 4 100K or 200K accounts someday. I mean, that would be awesome. If each one of you could do that, your incomes would start to look like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month. And that's really my goal for every single person if they want it. And that's the way to get there is you start by getting your first funded account, then you build up, and then you connect to some kind of copygram. And then from there you just kind of roll it out from there. So it's kind of awesome. Okay, so these are the 2 places if you're searching for people to trade for you. So if you don't want to even do the trading, let's say you don't really have a strategy, but you want somebody else to trade for you, these are the 2 places you would go. So you have Signal Start and MQL. So I will say Signal Start is probably my favorite place to go um, to look for copy traders. However, they don't have as many. So there's like, oh, I need to figure it out. I don't remember, but I think it's about 1,000. There's about 1,000 different copy traders that you can vet from and sift through versus With MQL, it's coming up on 5,000. It's crazy how many they have. The problem with MQL that I find, and you'll see this as we search for different ones tonight, the problem I have with this site right here is it's very difficult to there's not a lot of filters that you can look through. So I'm going to show you, I will get to this point. We'll come to this site probably last, but when we get to this site, I'll show you how I filter for successful copy traders here. Okay. Um, but it's not as easy. So, they have 5,000 different copy traders that you can select from, but they don't have a lot of filters. Over here they do. So this is really cool. Here's the link, by the way. I'm going to put these links in the chat box for those that want it. So here's Signal Start, which is really awesome. And then you have MQL5.com. Here's their link as well. So I would bookmark these or save these links if you guys want to go and look for different copy traders, shop around. This is actually one of my favorite things to do when I have some time. I kind of geek out on this stuff. I think I've kind of convinced a few other people to do the same. It's really fun to go out there and shop around for different copy traders. I'm always on the hunt for who's onto the next thing, who's got the best copy trader out there. It's really fun to find. So before we actually start looking at a couple of copy traders, I'm going to show you this real quick. So here's the like Signal Start. This is the page where you put in your filters. So you can say, I want a copy trader that's made 50% or it's made 100% return. You can ask and say, I only want copy traders with a drawdown that's below 20% or 10%. I want copy traders that have a drawdown less than 50 or whatever that is. Okay, you can ask and say, I want copy traders that have been around for at least 1 year or 2 years or 6 months or whatever that is, right? You can even say, I only want copy traders with a certain broker, which is cool. So you got a lot of different things you can do there. So I love this because there's so many different filters that you can break through here. Now, before we jump into this, I put together this copy trader metrics that you guys can have. Actually, I'll give this little document to you guys. Put a big fat disclaimer on the front just because this is kind of like I make quite a bit of money with these copy traders, guys. Like I do very, very well with these. I've created a full-blown salary just from copy trading other people's copy traders. Like it's a whole business arm that I've put together for myself and it's done very, very well. But I've also lost money with some of these. Like, so I have to put a big fat disclaimer on this. So I'll help you guys if you want to build out to that type of position where you're building out an income for yourself. I'll help you do that. I'll help you find successful copy traders. You don't even have to use the ones that I like. You can use the ones I like. I'll show you the ones that I like that have done well for me in the past. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll do great in the future, but I'll show you the ones at least. But yeah, I do need to make sure I share this. So these are some things that I look for when I'm evaluating a copy trader. Okay, these are not hard and fast rules. Sometimes I do break these, but this is generally what I'm looking for. And I've kind of narrowed this down to like 7 different things that I'm trying to analyze when I'm trying to figure out who should I even use. So the first question is how long they've been around, right? So that's a really big thing. It's like the same thing when like if you're building a credit score, because I used to work at a bank and I used to help people with their credit and stuff. And I'd have to teach this concept of like credit history. This is something that like is very important, but it has to be done over time. You can't just solve it all at once, right? With your credit example, you build credit over time. It's not something that's just built overnight. It is something over time. And the same thing with these copy traders. So you have to see copy traders that have been around for like a year or 2 years. I've actually done a few that have been around for 6 months, but there has to be some exceptional um, factors or variables that make that copy trader amazing for me to make an exception with that. So I like to see copy traders that have been around for at least a year. 2 years is ideal. Um, the next thing I look for is I want to see copy traders that have a drawdown in that same period that's less than 20%. So we always give copy traders and systems the ability to draw down. Everybody is going to have drawdowns no matter what system you subscribe to. There will be times when your money is in drawdown no matter what. We just want to know how much that's going to be. So I usually am okay with a 20% drawdown. Now that sometimes I've gone outside of that range a little bit. Again, there has to be some compensating factors and variables that would make me excited about the copy trader to be okay with that. There's also settings I can put on at the end of the copy trader that can reduce the amount that's traded. So sometimes it's called a multiplier. So sometimes I'll reduce my multiplier in the name of using the copy trader. It might mean I make a little bit less money, but it's there to protect my capital. So I'll show you how to use that. It's actually a pretty cool little thing that you can do. I usually want to see copy traders that have made a bunch of money, guys. Okay, this is gonna make more. Like, a huge disclaimer on this, but like, I want you guys to get excited. Some of these copy traders make a bunch of money. Okay, like, so step three here is fun. I want to see copy traders that have just gone out there and slayed the markets. Okay. 50% gain in a year is usually what I'm looking for. That might sound crazy to, an investor out there. Yeah, it is. These are big returns. Yeah, that's what I'm after. I'm after big returns with 20% drawdowns or less is kind of the sweet spot for me. I've gone outside of those ranges before. Like for example, if I see a copy trader that has like a 70% return or 100% return in a year, which by the way is common, very common for copy traders to do that. Like I'll go outside that range a little bit, especially if I bring my risk in a little bit. Like in the back end, there's a circuit breaker where I can set my settings the multiplier so it doesn't risk as much. There's a lot of things I can do to make a copy trader fit the model that I need. Okay. How much money are they trading? Okay, this is a huge question. So this is hard to tell sometimes, and I'll show you how to find this on both Signal Start and MQL. But I need to see guys that really have put a lot of money out there. So a lot of people that you'll find when we look at copy traders and EAs today, um, a lot of people will put together a copy trader and they'll just like I don't know, they'll just put like 500 bucks in or $1,000 in, okay? And that's hard for me because when I go and use a copy trader, I pretty much go in with at least $10,000, sometimes it's 5,000. Um, and so if somebody's only willing to put $1,000 on their copy trader, to me, that's just not acceptable because even if it's able to make 100% return, okay, so let's say they double their money. They go from 1,000 to 2,000. Well, yay, they've made hundreds of dollars. It's like, no, I need to see somebody take 50 grand or 100 grand or a quarter million and turn that into a half a million. Or I need to see somebody who's taken 50, turned it into 100. Or I need somebody to take 100, turn it into 200 in a year, right? Like that's the kind of stuff I like to see. I'm okay with somebody who's done like $10,000 because that's probably what I would be putting in anyway on their copy trader. But like if I start to see people down in the, just $1,000 range or just a $500 range, I don't even care how good their system is. It just is not, to me, that just tells me that they lack confidence, that they don't trust their system enough to go put real money out there and get the thing done and start making real money with it, right? Um, so anyway, that's just another thing and that eliminates, by the way, just that statement alone, statement four is just going to get rid of like 90% of your copy traders. Okay. Just because most people out there, especially right now, like you can build your own copy trader or EA on ChatGPT. You can go on to the AI and ask the AI to create a trading robot for you now, and it'll create a trading robot for you in 30 seconds, right? 20 seconds, right? And so people are making robots every single hour of every single day. They're coming out like hotcakes, right? It's an exciting thing. We live in a very exciting time. It's fun to look at this stuff, but we got to vet these things because otherwise you can get yourself into a heap of trouble with some of these. I've lost a lot of money with some. Okay, that it's been heartbreaking at times because you can wake up and be like, "Holy smokes, I lost a lot of money last night," and it's going to happen no matter what. Even if you like, there will be times where even your best robots or best copy traders will sometimes turn against you, but that's part of the game. And hopefully you've averaged out enough with some of the other ones that have done very well that you can take those kinds of hits. Okay. It's very important. Like this is a big money game. You're trying to double your money with a lot of these in a year or less. And so you've got to be willing to take hits. And if you spread your money out across a lot of really good copy traders that you've vetted, I'm okay if a few of them go under or don't do as well as I had hoped because the other ones will make up all the difference. All right. All right, guys. So, and we got to see, yeah, we got to check to see how many funds they have under management. This is basically part of step 4. I'll do that at the same time. Some places won't let you do that, but yeah, if other people have trusted the copy trader, to me, then that's exciting for me to trust it as well. But just because the crowd has jumped in doesn't necessarily mean enough. I usually think, this is me personally, if the owner himself of the copy trader or herself has put their money on the copy trader, to me, that's more important than how much other people have put on the copy trader because it tells me that the brains of it all believes in what he does. And so to me, that I don't even care. If I'm the only one copying, I'm fine. So long as the guy that runs the show believes in what he does. That's all that matters to me. Um, so number 5 is not as important, but it is important as well to take a look at. Okay, filter oldest trades by lot size. Has the copy trader ever needed a significant amount of leverage to scale out of a trade? Usually, if you do a good job analyzing the drawdown in step 1, this does not typically become a big issue. Okay, so this is something that I had to add in the past because um, if there are some copy traders out there that you'll see have really, really good results, but they need to use a significant amount of leverage to get out of bad trades. So a lot of copy traders and EAs are used to using a technique called martingale, which is it's a way to leverage out of a bad trade. You can fix bad trades using the martingale technique. Now, it's great, and I use it for a lot of things that I do, but I have to control it. So I need to see that somebody's controlling it. One of the ways I check to see if they're able to control the way that they use the martingale is by how, like, I'll go back to their order history because I can check to see what orders they've taken in the past and how big their biggest order ever was. And depending on how big that order was, will kind of tell me, okay, they used this much leverage. Okay, that would have exceeded my leverage. Okay, I better not use that copy trader. So that kind of stinks sometimes because a lot of times I'll find a really good copy trader and I'll think I'm onto something. And then I'll find out as I'm doing my vetting that that copy trader had a period of time where it had to use an extortionate amount of leverage to get out of a bad trade. And then you're just hosed at that point. So, but it's important. You got to do that part. I'd much rather just forget the copy trader and move on to something else than get into a bad one. Okay, so the last question is cost. How much does a copy trader cost? If you have limited funds to trade with, this can become a big deal if the copy trader charges a lot of money. So, yeah, I would say you got to ask yourself a question. So, for example, a lot of these copy traders that we use, the ones that I like, make between 5 and 10% a month. That's usually what I'm after is 5 to 10% a month. Some of them I'm okay with a 3 or 4% a month if everything is just like I can tell this is like a golden copy trader. And sometimes if their drawdown is really low, making 3 or 4% a month, I'll increase the multiplier because I feel really, really good with it. But again, all the other variables have got to be looking really good if I'm going to increase the multiplier. And that's at the end of that's when you actually go to set it up. All right. But yeah, what happens is if you think about it, if you put in $10,000 and the thing makes between 5 and 10% a month, then you would expect to make $500 to $1,000 a month. So if the thing costs, let's say it's a really expensive copy trader, let's say it's $200 or $300, that's a pretty expensive copy trader. Then you're basically giving up, we'll say about half, yeah, maybe half, depends on the month, half of your profits you're giving away to the just the person who's managing your money. Okay, that's a lot of money to give away. So I like copy traders that are usually between $30 and $100 a month is kind of where I like to be. Yeah. And then you got to ask yourself the question, if you only have 5,000, let's say, then you're going to make between $250 and $500 a month. That's what you'd probably be making. Um, and you got to ask, okay, okay, this one's $30. That's fine, right? That's fine. I'll give $30 back to the person that made me that money. So you got to ask those kind of questions, right? Because some people try to do this with just like $500, and you can, but the thing is, you will, most of your profits, if not all of your profits, will go back to the hands of the person who's you're copy trading from. So if you only have $500 or $1,000, don't go away. Like, there, learn from this, because this is how you're going to really scale. Like I said, I've made a whole nother salary, a whole nother arm of my business just from copy trading that I didn't even realize was out there. This is something I got involved with like a year ago, and I really scaled it from here. And I'm constantly adding new copy traders and managing new money all the time. This is a really fun thing for me. It's super exciting, and I want you guys to do it too, but you're going to have to build up. I didn't get, to the point where I'm at with these overnight. It took me many months to, and basically a year to scale to a point where I had enough money and funds that I felt comfortable putting into all these copy traders. All right, guys. So let me show you how to do this. So if you go to signalstart.com, I'm going to show you how to, now that we've looked at that metrics, by the way, here's the link if you want it. Just so long as you read that disclaimer, I'm okay with you guys using this and you follow that disclaimer. Okay, so there's that link right there. Let's go back. Let's go to Signal Start over here. Okay, so on the Signal Start page, I'm going to show you how to kind of look for copy traders that I think are pretty good. So again, I'm usually looking for something that's made a 50% to 100% return. If it's made less than that, then it hasn't been around enough to make a significant return. Okay, so that's, I need to see it make a significant return, right? The next thing I usually ask is a drawdown. So this is really important. I like to see something that's below 20. I'm okay with stuff that's over 20, but I'm gonna have to lower my multiplier if I go over 20. So like I've gone up to like 25 or 30 at drawdown, but if I'm gonna go to something that's had a 30% drawdown in the past, I'm gonna have to lower. There's no choice. And so if the return is barely acceptable, then there's probably a good chance I won't be using that copy trader. So maybe I will put the 30, or let's do 25. But again, when I get over 20, when I see their drawdowns over 20, then I'm forced to find compensating factors. And if I can't find compensating factors, then I will not be using their copy trader. All right. And then you can look at leverage is important too. Like you can find copy traders that use an exact amount of leverage, like 50 to 1, which is kind of the cap here in the United States. Now, I have used copy traders that have, 500 to 1 leverage, but it's because I've vetted them. Um, because if you start to have a copy trader that uses a ton of leverage and you weren't aware of that, and you have a United States brokerage account with Awanda or Forex.com, you got to make sure that they've never stepped over that line. And so that's all part of vetting their trading history and things like that. Okay, the next thing that I look at is I like to see their age. So I'm looking for something that's been around, um, usually for something for a year at least. I prefer 2 years. So that would be like a compensating factor for me. Like if I saw somebody, um, that's, maybe they didn't fit every mold that I wanted, but they've been around for 2 or 3 years. That's awesome. Like that's good. That's like credit history, right? Like they've done that. But if they're weak in a few areas that I don't really like and they've only been around for a year or less, then it's just like I might deny that. Like I'm just not going to let it through just because there's not enough there to kind of get me excited about it. All right, so then I go ahead and click search. So I just put in those three things, like, and then the rest I just do on my own. And then this is going to tell me, okay, so here we are. So we've got 70 results to look from. So we got 70 different things here. I'm going to go ahead and show them all on the page. And then this is awesome. So now I can have a chance to filter by whatever I want. I can filter by name. They actually rank these, which is kind of cool. So I can rank, you know, what Signal Start thinks how good they are. You can rank them by their percent gain. Some of these have made crazy returns. Now, usually, and by the way, I don't usually go with the ones that have made the most crazy returns. Okay, there's a lot of other factors that go into play. Um, You can filter by drawdown. So if you want somebody with the lowest drawdown, so here's somebody right here with a 6.99% drawdown. That's that's pretty good for being a max drawdown. You can filter by like their age. So you can find the oldest person, the oldest copy trader that's been around. Um, so this one's been around for 7 years and 6 months. It's a long time. Okay, 6 years, 11 months. I think that's actually goes back to about the inception of Signal Start, when Signal Start became a thing. So it's kind of a newer site. Like if it's only been around 7 or 8 years, it's a little bit newer, but um, that's just what it is. Okay, cool. Like this one's been around for 1 year and 1 day, 7 days. So when I'm looking for new trade copy traders, sometimes I do this. Like I'll wait for stuff to pop up after. Like this one just showed up 7 days ago, so I've never seen this one before. It's made a 115% return, which is great in a year. It does have a higher end drawdown, so that's something that I don't really like. It's 24% drawdown. That's higher than what I would want. But I might be okay with it if I looked at some other things, right? Okay, so we could, in fact, let's look at it real quick. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. We don't have time for everything that I was hoping to do, but I want to show you some of the cool features. Like once you click on a copy trader, here you can see all the details. Like this is a real account trading in U.S. currency. It's with a broker called X Chief, which I've never heard of. That doesn't necessarily mean you can't use it, but it sounds like, it's not here in the United States. It's 1 to 500 leverage. So I'm okay with that so long as I vet them. Okay. So if I see somebody with 1 to 500, I need to make sure that they haven't used a ton of leverage. And I'll show you how to check that. Price is okay. All this is good. Big drawdown. Again, that's kind of a scary thing for me. His account, this is where you check to see how much money they're using. So he has $8,400 in his account. That's a decent amount. Like that's more than your average copy trader, but that is not something where I'd look at and be like, "Oh, that's really, really good." No, it's honestly kind of low for me. So already I'm not off to the best start with this one, but it like I can see some redeeming qualities. What I'd like to know is like we're down here. This is kind of cool. This shows you the percent return it's made each month. So in July of 2023, it made 14.9%. In August, it made 7%. This month, it's made just under 1% so far. In June, it's made 5.5%. Right. So you can see its returns. You can see what all the currency pairs that they've traded, which is awesome. They've got 56 open trades right now, which usually tells me that they're in some kind of drawdown and they hold a lot of trades. So that means they probably use martingale if they're holding a lot of trades open. Taken a lot of trades though in the last year. They've taken 6,537 trades. That's a lot. So that also can be a good thing. It means they're kind of like a scalper. Um, which is that's fine. Yeah, that's okay to be a scalper. I don't scalp, so it's kind of nice to have somebody else do that for me. These, by the way, these are withdrawals up here. When you come up here and you can see this, so this guy's made pretty consistent withdrawals. He's withdrew $800 in April, another 400 in May. He withdrew another 400 in June. So that's normal. By the way, highly recommend that when you have copy traders, really good thing to withdraw your money. Anytime you make a 5 or 10% return, I suggest that you withdraw the top of that, take that money home, put it in your bank account, and let the copy trader continue to play. But it's really good to take money off the top. The reason why is because these do draw down sometimes, and the money is not necessarily guaranteed. And so I think it's a good idea to take those profits as they come. All right, so this one had a drawdown recently. A lot of robots have actually, I think a lot of that was due to July 4th, just the holiday. I think the doldrums and the combination of spreads being wide for the holiday made a lot of copy traders suffer as far as their drawdowns go. So, in fact, some of my bots that I really like had some drawdowns that went without outside my threshold, and I think it was because of the holidays. So I'm not so mad about them after all, because I think it was the holidays that caused it. So I'm a little bit forgiving with stuff like that. You kind of have to look at some of these dates, like this one was not a holiday right here. This is definitely, and by the way, this is pure martingale. Like, let me show you one thing real quick. Oh shoot, can I go back and do this again? Yeah, let me click on this again. This is martingale. When you see the dark blue line is the balance, the light blue line is the equity. When you see the equity dip down like that and quickly snap back, that's martingale. And not only that, but when you kind of see it curve down like that too, that means they're using some kind of logarithmic martingale as well, which it's not again, it wouldn't necessarily mean I wouldn't trade it if it had a lot of compensating factors, but I get a little bit nervous when I see a lot of those types of gains. So this is making a lot of money. He's doing very, very well. Problem is that he's drawing down quite a bit with some of these. So probably wouldn't use this one, but it is good to check. By the way, here's the order history. You can filter this by lot size. So if I just do this, it'll take the biggest lot size to the top here. This wasn't actually that huge. It was only a 0.79% contract, but he made a lot of money on that trade. So that tells me that he probably drew down pretty heavily before that trade made money. Same thing with some of these others here. And you'll also note the proximity of these lot sizes to their dates, right? So you can see that this was 0.79 contracts. And then the very next trade, that was also the second biggest trade he's ever taken in the last year, was 0.66 contracts. And it was on the same date, right? And they closed at the exact same time. So that is that's like a total dead giveaway. It's martingale. Now, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You just like for me, everything if I'm gonna use somebody's martingale, however they use it, I'm okay because I use it too, but it's got to check out. Okay, because it's a very delicate process using martingale correctly. It's very hard. This guy's done an okay job. It's just I wouldn't say it quite meets my standards, but I mean, I would probably put it on my watch list. Like you can highlight these and put them on your watch list if you want. Okay, I don't have a ton of time left, guys, so I do want to show you how to search MQL. So this is Signal Start, really fun. There's 70 other copy traders for you guys to look at here that kind of pretty closely meet the criteria that I like. So if you want to dive into those, feel free to do that on your own time when you have some time tonight or this week. Okay, so let me show you MQL and we'll wrap up on this. Get your questions in the chat box now so that we can get those going because we got to wrap up here in about 5 or 10 minutes. So here's MQL5. All right. And this is the biggest place to find copy traders. Now, like I said earlier, the biggest downside to this though is that it's very hard to filter the really good ones from the not so good ones. But here's the best thing that I have figured out. So when you come to this site, this is what their page looks like. It's just you click on signals and this is what it looks like. It shows you kind of a snapshot of the equity of each copy trader, and it tells you what their price is per month, their percent gain, how many subscribers. Oh, this is kind of cool. This is where they actually outperform. Like this is where I'd say they actually do better than like say Signal Start. What I like about these guys is they tell you how many people are subscribed to their copy trader, which you can't see on Signal Start. So that's kind of cool. So it's kind of nice to know like how many people are kind of tuned into these different ones. So you can filter this. Like if I go like this, the number one copy trader on this site has 134 subscribers. These are actively paying customers, right? And then you've got this guy, this next one, second place, got 85. This one's 61. Here's 55. Here's 35, and so on. Um, I think the best thing that I have seen is don't go by drawdown because I can't do any filters other than by column. There's no fields for me to fill out. I can on Signal Start, which I really love. You have these fields over here that you can fill out and then you can get what you want. You can't do that here. So here's to me, this is like the most important thing. Don't go by drawdown because if I do this, okay, like by the way, look at this. Some of these drawdowns are 100%. This is a graveyard. Actually, I'm going to hold the other thought. I'm going to come back to this. there's a graveyard here. Okay. So you got copy traders that have performed terribly. Some of these have blown up. Like actually, they've just they've done terrible things and they've actually just gone to zero. So a lot, I would say a good majority of copy traders will eventually end up in the graveyard here. And so I just flipped this on. I went by drawdown and I just went like this and it said 100% drawdown, 100% drawdown, 100% drawdown, 99%, 98, 90, 97. This is the graveyard. These are copy traders that you'd never want to use. They may not even still be active. They're just on the website still. These are copy traders that did well, maybe for a time, maybe not, but they've now blown up. Okay, so they just don't work anymore. Um, Terrible, right? There's a lot of skeletons in here, and you can find them. And you could probably self-diagnose. A good thing to do is maybe to diagnose like what happened. You could probably figure this out on your own. It's probably like, okay, mismanagement of martingale. Didn't have a way to get out of a bad trade effectively. They did not take losses, which is one of. By the way, that's how you make martingale work, in my opinion, is you've got to be able to have the ability to let the steam out like of a bad system. Like if you have a trade that's not working, sometimes it's good to actually be able to take some hits where you need to take the hits, and then you can come back and get that money back quickly. Um, Problem where most people lose their money is, and this is true not just for martingale, in systematic form, but with just traders generally, where most people lose their money is when they subsequently add to a trade, that just keeps going against them. They keep selling when they think it's going to go down. They keep buying when they think it's going to go up, and that's how a lot of these wounded up in the graveyard here. Is just a bad trade that they just never fixed and weren't able to fix correctly. So, all right. So back to the other thought. So here's how I find the best here. So, what was the number one thing I said when you're looking at the metrics, on this page right here, which I put in the chat box for you guys? I like to see how much money the copy trader author puts out on his own. Let's see it. Okay, let's put your money where your mouth is. That's like a real saying for a real reason, right? So if we come over here, back to here, let's find out what their balance is. So if you go by balance, I like to see how much people have put out there. Now you got to be careful with this because this is an IDR. I don't know what IDR is. That's definitely not the US dollar. So I'm going to go by, what does somebody put in as far as US dollar goes? Like this guy, I don't know what this is all about. This seems kind of weird. Oh, is that Indian rupee? Okay, thanks for letting me know. This one says 24 million. I don't know about that. Maybe that's a demo account. We'd have to check. It could be a demo account. You got to be careful with these two. You have to go in and check to see if they're live accounts. Um, but let me go here. So this one says it's got 10 million US dollars. But again, I need to check to see if it's live. And I think you can check that by going in here and it will tell you if it's live. I forgot. Right here, the broker, live account. That's awesome, right? So you can see how much they have. Another way you can filter is by how much funds they have under management. So this kind of goes hand in glove. So if they have a lot of funds under management, then usually that's a good indication that they're doing okay, at least for enough people to trust them. Like with this one, I've actually seen this one around a max no limit. I've seen this guy many times. I think he just trades the euro dollar. I've seen this one quite a bit. I've never used it yet, but he's got 85 subscribers. He's made a 702% return. He charges $50 a month. He has $12,000 in his account, which is okay. Um, but he has a million under management. So, okay, and that's kind of crazy if you think about it. So he's just trading a $12,000 account, but there's $1 million behind that 12,000. So this is the master account with 12 grand, and there's $1 million in slave accounts. Well, it works, right? They're happy with it, so they're good. But you can see his stats here, right? Like he's got a 21% drawdown max. That's the biggest he's drawn down, is 70% win rate. Um, he's been around for 247 weeks, so that's like 7 years, 6 years. If I'm no, yeah, I think it's 6 years, right? Let me know if I did that right in my head. Like 6 years he's been around. That's pretty good. 700% return in 6 years. Yeah, that's really good. So great copy trader. I'd probably use this one. I'm surprised I haven't used it. I'll have to look into it why I haven't used it yet, or just I don't know why. But anyway, this one was the British pound. This guy has 53 grand in his master account, and then he's got almost a million US dollars in slave accounts. That's pretty good. I like that this is a healthy amount. You've got a good amount of you've got a good amount of money on his own side. Like he's definitely not he's doing okay. Like if you've got 53 grand in a Forex account, you're doing okay. Right. And then he's got 957,000 people dollars of people following him of 34 people with 900 almost $1 million following him. Okay, this one right here is got this is blows my mind. This guy has $3,200 in his master account, but there's 615 grand following him. It can work. It can work. I would probably wouldn't use it. His drawdown is 33% unless I were to lower my multiplier. I might lower my multiplier potentially, but I don't know, maybe I would. I'd have to look into it. But you can look into each one. Like you can click on his if you wanted to, and it tells you more information. Like you can come in here, you can be, oh, he's got a photo of himself. Cool. That's kind of makes it more personal, I guess, right? You can see what his leverage is. He's got some reviews you can take a look at. Um, uh, let's see what else can you dissect here? You can, um, yeah, he's got a 70% win rate. So he wins. He's probably a scalper if he's winning that much. That's a pretty high win rate. And yeah, he's definitely using martingale because you come down here and you can see like the equity, these little snapbacks that you see, the little quick downs and quick back. That's martingale in action. And again, if you control it, it's actually not too bad. If you can control it is the big question, right? And so far he's done a good job with that. Let's try to find one. Again, I want to find one. Like here's one right here. This guy, he only charges $30 a month. He's got 10 grand of his own money. He's got $159,000 of people following him, but he's got a 42% drawdown, right? So anyway, this is I again, this class, this webinar, I was trying to go fast because this webinar just goes so fast to me. There's so much stuff. We honestly could do this in like two webinars. We probably should do this in two webinars. Anyway, I hope this gives you a few ideas on some like how to look around. If you guys want to use a couple of copy traders, I didn't share some of my favorite ones, but if you have a few, if you're looking for a few, I have some suggestions I can give you again, but you have to use them at your own risk. They've worked for me. They worked during the time that I've used them. They may or may not work for you, but I'm happy to give that away with that understanding. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, take a few minute break. We're going to do caught report in about 3 or 4 minutes. All right, guys. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you guys in the next call.